Oh my goodness. I think that this week, this divisional round 2022, might be the best week of football that we've had in recent history. Not just playoff history, but regular season history. I mean, like, as far as predictions go, this is going to be the toughest prediction, like, week that I've ever had. Ever. Because every single game, I can see going either way. So it sucks for predictions, but that just shows how, like, great of a week this is going to be. So, man, I'm excited for it. I'm nervous that I'm gonna do pretty bad on picks this week, but what I will say is that I went 5-1 last week in my picks. 5-1. The one game I got wrong was the Rams Cardinals. What I noticed is that a lot of people were 5-1 just like me, but the one that they picked and got wrong was the Cowboys game. I want to know, if you're not a Cowboys fan, especially if you pick the Cowboys to win, um, please tell me why you think or thought that they were going to win, and tell me why you didn't think the 49ers were going to beat them. I mean, I saw it coming from a mile away, but everyone has their own opinion. So if you had the Cowboys, I just want to know, like, why you had the Cowboys. Yeah, they do it every year, but I'm gonna, man, the games are so good this week. I don't even know where to start, but I'm going to go ahead and jump in with what I think is going to be the best game of the week. Maybe the best game we've seen all season. We've seen some good games. We ended off on a great game, the Raiders Chargers regular season finale. What a game. I mean, that'll go down in history as like one of the best season finales. Sucks for Chargers fans. I mean, I guess it's a good thing seeing the Raiders lose from a Chargers fan's perspective, but regardless, it was a great game. I think that this game right here, the Bills-Chiefs, is going to be even better. It's going to be like literally a mini Super Bowl. Okay, first of all, let's start off by appreciating the game that the Bills had against the Patriots in the wild card round. As if we haven't already enough. The Bills had a perfect game. A perfect game. They scored literally the first 7. I have it pulled up somewhere here. The Bills scored touchdowns on the first 7 possessions in the game. The first team to do that since the Patriots did in Week 11 of the 2007 regular season. It's been 15 years since that's happened. And it wasn't in a playoff game, was it? Yeah, it was in a regular season game. The first 7 possessions they had, they scored a touchdown. They never punted. They never had a field goal attempt, and they never turned the ball over. Let's appreciate Josh Allen as well for throwing more touchdowns than incompletions, right? 5 touchdowns, 4 incompletions, over 300 yards in freezing weather. If the Bills play like that, they're going to be right here in the Super Bowl. Regardless, if they play like that moving forward, I don't think any team stands a chance. However, because of how explosive this Chiefs team is, I think they do have a chance. I think it's going to be a shootout. I also thought that this game right here, the Rams and Cardinals, was going to be a shootout. Man, I was wrong. I think a lot of people predicted that, no matter who they had winning. And Kyler Murray, look, they'll be back hopefully. There's 5 quarterback debuts this in the wild card week, and it went well for one of them, Joe Burrow and the Bengals. I mean, the second best was Derek Carr. The rest of them just got destroyed. Jalen Hurts, Mac Jones, and Kyler Murray. So hopefully they'll be back. Cardinals fans, we won't talk about it. We'll just let you guys recover from that. Regardless, I thought it was going to be a shootout. It wasn't a shootout. Hopefully this Bills-Chiefs game is a shootout. I think it will be. I'll tell you guys now. And there's a reason behind my pick. I think it's pretty even, 50-50 as far as predictions go. I'll tell you now, I have the Bills winning. Okay, I have the Bills winning. Whether that is, them holding off on a shootout and being able to survive, or just pulling off some magical, last possession touchdown or something. Regardless, I think it's going to be close. I have the Bills winning, and here's why. Okay, I think the Bills are more well-rounded. I say that because I don't know whose offense is better here. Obviously, if the Bills play the way they did against the Patriots, who, keep in mind, had arguably the best defense, one of the best defenses in the league. If Josh Allen can play like that against a worse Chiefs defense, then, I mean, I don't think Mahomes is going to be able to back it up, simply because the Bills' defense is just far better than the Chiefs, in my opinion. Chiefs' defense hasn't been good. You saw the Bengals game regular season. It was a shootout, and the Bengals survived. The Bengals won. I think the Bills, their defense is just too good for Mahomes to be able to keep up, because I think both have explosive offenses. They do. I know they both do. And for that reason, I think it comes down to defense. I don't think that the Chiefs' defense is going to be able to hold off Josh Allen coming off a game that hot in weather that cold. I mean, I just don't see it happening. No, I take that back. I do see it happening, but I do think the Bills are going to be able to survive. Now, I'm not going to kick myself for getting this wrong if I do. It's just one of those games where it goes either way. I won't be mad. If I get it wrong, I'll be mad because I don't want the Chiefs to make it to the Super Bowl again. But you never want to see the same team keep going to the Super Bowl, especially for the third straight year. So I don't think anyone other than Chiefs fans should be rooting for the Chiefs to be in the Super Bowl. But whatever. They're an explosive offense. So are the Bills. I think it's gonna be a great game. Maybe the best game we've had this year, and I'm gonna take the Buffalo Bills. All right. Now, we'll stay in the AFC. Bengals Titans. Now, before I say anything, I will say this. Okay, the Titans are probably the most underappreciated. Maybe you could say underrated. And least hyped and talked about number one seed I think I've ever seen. Okay. I think there's valid reason why. Now, I'm not discrediting them. I'm not saying they're not a good football team, because they are. Let's not ignore the fact that they've been really good even without Derrick Henry on the team. So I can see why people are like, oh, they're going to be scary with Derrick Henry coming back. Derrick Henry coming back is going to be like scary for the league. The league should be terrified, this and that. And that's half the people. The other half of the people, or I should say 80% of the people, are like, they're not really the best one seed. They're not really scary. I myself, I don't think that they're better than any of these three remaining teams in the AFC. Personally, I think that if they're able to survive the Bengals, I don't think they're going to beat whoever wins the Bills-Chiefs game. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Titans fans. I'm not discrediting you guys. I think you guys are good. You guys played well without Derrick Henry. You guys play well with Derrick Henry. But even with a fully healthy team, and I know A.J. Brown and Julio haven't really played together, even with a fully healthy team, I just don't think you guys are good enough or talented enough to outplay the Bills, Bengals, and Chiefs, specifically their offenses, okay? Ryan Tannehill is underrated. We know this. If you know football, you know Ryan Tannehill is good. Let me pause that. If you know football, you know Ryan Tannehill is a good quarterback. He is. He's, in my opinion, he's always been underrated. But he's not better than Joe Burrow. He's not better than Josh Allen. He's not better than Patrick Mahomes. I'm not saying that specifically is the reason why they won't beat any of these teams, but it's as a team, the team as a whole, I don't think it's well-rounded enough compared to these teams, starting with the Bengals, and that's why I have the Bengals winning this game. I haven't even mentioned Joe Burrow or Jamar Chase. Okay. They're unbelievable. I was hesitant to bet the over on Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, and I regretted it before the first quarter was even over. They are insane. The duo's insane, but not only that, it's T. Higgins and Boyd. The receiver core is just insane. They're loaded with talent, okay? I don't think the Titans are going to be able to stop all of them and Joe Burrow. We have even talked about Joe Mixon, who's also an incredible running back, especially this season, as well as, what the Titans have in Henry. And so I just think, overall, the Bengals are better. Now, something to take into consideration is the Bengals being banged up, Okay. Now, as you can see here, one of their best, guys on the defensive line, Larry, I don't know how to pronounce his name. Sorry, Ogunjobi, I think is what it is. But what I do know is that he's a stud. He was a great signing, and he's been really good this season. However, he got hurt. Okay, Trey Hendrickson as well got hurt. Look, I'm a Saints fan, so coming from a Saints fan, we know Trey Hendrickson is unbelievable. Man, watching him get that strip sack against Derek Carr in the playoffs while Drew Brees was commentating, that was it brought the feels. All right, it brought the feels. Nonetheless, Trey Hendrickson is a stud. Good news is that Trey Hendrickson is a full go in practice. I think on Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday he practiced full capacity. And then, of course, with Ogunjobi out, they're hopeful that Josh Tupou does play. So, the line's banged up. That is definitely probably the most concerning thing when you're going into a game against Derrick Henry, is your defensive line being banged up. So that is definitely important, and based on who plays and who doesn't, that's going to be a big X factor. It's going to have a huge impact on the game. And so I'm not saying that'll be the reason why if things don't go well, but they look to be fine, and they look to be hopeful for at least a good starting lineup for that defensive line. So hopefully things go well, injury-wise for the Bengals. If they do, I for sure have the Bengals. Now, like I said, I see every single game going either way, so I won't be super embarrassed in my pick if the Titans end up winning. Now, I will say, if something were to make me change my mind last second and pick the Titans, and then the Bengals ended up winning, I would never let myself hear the end of it, and I would hate myself for picking the Titans because I wanted to pick the Bengals all along. For that reason, there's no way I'm not picking the Bengals. I have Bengals Bills in the championship game for the divisional round. Okay. Now, flipping it over to the NFC side, we're gonna start on the top this time. All right. For this game, the Green Bay Packers and the San Francisco 49ers in Green Bay, okay, at Lambeau Field. For some odd reason, I feel like whoever I pick in this game is going to lose. I hope not. And I've done a lot of thinking about this game, and I've finally come to a conclusion that I'm going to... A lot more thinking than I would imagine it would take for the number 1 seed versus the number... What were they? 7 seed? 6 seed? 7? I am going to take the Packers in this divisional game in Lambeau. I don't think it's much of a shocker, but I also don't think it'll be much of a shocker or some huge surprise if the 49ers were able to pull off an upset, simply because of two things, in my opinion: Deebo Samuel and Kyle Shanahan. Man, I haven't heard a single person talk about Kyle Shanahan and how good of a coach he is. The dude is a mastermind, in my opinion. He draws up some of the nicest plays, and actually watching full 49ers games, I myself appreciate how good of a coach Kyle Shanahan is. I hope you 49ers fans are satisfied and realize you guys have a good coach, especially after the ending of that Dallas Cowboys game. We're not going to talk about it. That's for a whole nother video for you Cowboys fans or anybody that thinks that it ended in a bad way, as in the refs screwed them. I'm not going to mention that. But from a 49ers fan's perspective, you got to realize, man, that was a terrible play call. I'm glad we have Kyle Shanahan, because even when it's Deebo, you know who it's gonna be, but you don't know what it's gonna be. All right. I mean, that run on 3rd and 10 to get the first down with Deebo late in that Cowboys game was such a nice play call, and I think we all saw it coming that Deebo was gonna get the ball, but I didn't see that coming. It just goes to show how good of a coach Kyle Shanahan is. I respect Kyle Shanahan. And I think if the 49ers win this game, it'll be because of two things, possibly. Maybe Deebo. I don't know if they're going to lock him up. Jair Alexander, Jalen Ramsey wasn't able to. And so I don't know if they'll be able to lock him up in both the run and passing game. I don't think they will completely, and I think he's going to have a big impact, on the game. especially if they win. He'll be a big reason why. I think the the other one is Kyle Shanahan. We saw some mistakes made from the Packers, coaching side in the championship game against the Buccaneers last year. A lot of it was on Kevin King getting absolutely toasted, and just the Packers defense just selling. But there were also some play calls that were kind of and Aaron Rodgers, some decisions that were, it was a combination of things. I think if the 49ers are able to get the best of the Packers, it'll be from their coaching, out coaching, and of course, Deebo Samuel. But it sounds like I'm praising the 49ers right now, even though I picked the Packers. So I will say Packers are a 1 seed. I think much more of a true 1 seed than the Titans. Much more advantage at home than I feel like the Titans have. And that's a huge factor. No one really wants to go to Lambeau in the NFC unless you're in the championship game, because they always seem to fail there. But I got the Packers, Aaron Rodgers. If you're going to bet over, I say Aaron Rodgers is a good over. I think he's going to torch the 49ers defense. I do. Him and Devontae Adams both. I mean, I don't really have much else to say about this game. I have the Packers winning, but I can see very low-key the 49ers pulling off the upset, all right? Now, wow, this game. Look, as I mentioned earlier, I'm a Saints fan, okay? There's obvious reasons I don't like the Rams, and there's obvious reasons I don't like the Bucs. They're a rival, and the Rams themselves are a rival now. Like I said, obvious reasons. Now, I don't really dislike anybody on these teams except for Mike Evans and Devin White on the Bucs. There's no one else in this game I disrespect. I just dislike. I just dislike the teams as a whole, the organizations as a whole. I respect Ramsey. I respect OBJ, Cooper Kupp, Matthew Stafford, Von Miller. I respect Tom Brady. I do. So it's not like there's certain players I really dislike. But it's just the teams, and there's no team in this game that I can just root for, okay? Now, what I am rooting for is a great game of football, a close game, and that's exactly what I think it's going to be. Before, we even talk about how great Tom Brady is, I will mention his offensive line's banged up. His receiver core is banged up really bad. He's missing his top 2 receivers this year, Chris Godwin and Antonio Brown. Obviously, Chris Godwin due to injury, and we know what happened with Antonio Brown. So you're down to Mike Evans. Who's guarding Evans? Jalen Ramsey. Outside of that, you have, Scotty Miller. It doesn't look very great on paper for the Bucs as far as the receiver core goes. And, of course, you have Gronk. Don't forget about Gronk. But Brady lost 2 of his biggest weapons. Now, we knew he was going to beat the Eagles. I thought it'd be a little bit closer, but we should have all seen the defending champs beating the Eagles, who surprisingly made it to the playoffs. And Jalen Hurts' first, playoff start, he was going to beat, defending Super Bowl champion Tom Brady. Now, we saw that coming from a mile away, but what makes this pick so difficult is the fact that the Buccaneers offense is banged up, okay? Normally, you'd look at that and say, okay, this quarterback's missing his top 2 receivers, his O-line's banged up. There is no way that this explosive team he's beating is going to lose because his offense is banged up. But because it's Tom Brady, and he always finds a way, he's going to find a way to make this game close or win it. Now, I have the Rams, okay? I'm taking the Rams because I'm going to say if this was any other team, I think I would take the Bucs. But the Rams offense is so explosive that it's, even with Tom Brady, I think it's better than the Bucs offense, current offense, because of their injuries. I think for that reason, the Rams have a better offense right now, but it all falls back on Matthew Stafford. It all depends on Matthew Stafford. He kind of slowed down, kind of fell out of the MVP race, a little bit into the season. He started off really good, and he was high up there in the race. Maybe he was even leading it at one point, but he fell out of it, and he kind of, as well as Kyler Murray, kind of start to fall off the second half of the season. Now, no disrespect to him, he's a great quarterback, of course. Everything he's been through and everything he's done for mainly Detroit, wow, you gotta respect it. He's a great quarterback. He is. It all depends on him. He got his first playoff win, and I have him getting his second one this week against the Bucks. Cooper Kupp. Yeah, keep in mind Robert Woods is hurt. He got hurt like right when OBJ came. They're still missing Robert Woods, and that receiver core is insane. Cooper Kupp, of course. OBJ, Van Jefferson. I mean, they're going to have some kind of move to make this offseason, but they're loaded. I mean, Cam Akers just came back. Sent a guy to the hospital. Prayers up to Buda Baker. Heard he's doing well, so that's good. But, I mean, if Matthew Stafford can be Matthew Stafford that we know, and not the Matthew Stafford that sold the Saints playoff hopes and threw an interception on first down with about 2 minutes left in the game. And yeah, so if Matthew Stafford can be Matthew Stafford and just work with the loaded offense that he has, then I think the Rams will pull off the win. I do think the Rams also have the edge on defense. Of course, only having to guard really Mike Evans not only having to guard, but like only having to really worry about at receiver Mike Evans with Jalen Ramsey, your best cornerback, the best cornerback in the league, on him, and then Gronkowski. The rest aren't really threats, but because it's Brady, they are, and Brady's gonna find a way. Even with his offense banged up, I think he's gonna keep this game close, and he might be able to pull off a win. I won't be surprised if somehow Brady comes and wins this game. I don't know how he'll do it, but he might do it. So if he does, I won't be surprised, like I said. But I have the Rams winning their second playoff game this year. I'm going to have them and the Packers in the championship game. So those are my playoff picks for the divisional round. Let me know down below what you guys predicted, who you guys have, how close it is to my picks, all that good stuff. So, yeah.